Revolution! What's up? If you are out there, please make your way to the auditorium. We're gonna do some singing together. And if you feel comfortable, you can come down here to the front as we all sing together. All right, let's do it. Come on. Hey! Let's go, come on. The darkness run and hide. You bring the broken back to life. Only you can, only you can. Yeah. You set me free from every chain. Fill my heart with songs of praise. Only you can, only you. Jesus, you're the only reason that I'm even breathing. I am wide awake. We say, my heart beats only for your glory.
Silence steals my voice. You understand me. You understand me. And come to me in the valley understand me. So I threw all my cares before you. My doubts and fears don't scare you. You're bigger than I thought you were. You're bigger than I thought. So I stop all negotiations with the God of all creation. You're bigger than I thought you were. You're bigger than I thought you were. You're bigger than I thought. I believe, help my unbelief. You understand me. You understand me. Help me reach faith that's underneath. You understand me. You understand me. You understand me, God. You understand me, God. So I threw all my cares before you. My doubts and fears don't scare you. You're bigger than I thought you were. You're bigger than I thought. So I stop all negotiation with the God of all creation. You're bigger than I thought you were. You're bigger than I thought you were. Yeah. Oh, you're bigger than it all. We believe it I will rest in the Father's hands. Leave the rest in the Father's hands. I will rest in the Father's hands. Oh, yeah. Leave the rest in the Father's hands. I will rest. I will rest in the Father's hands. Oh, leave the rest in the Father's hands. Oh, yeah. I will rest in the Father's hands. Leave the rest in the Father's hands. So I threw all my cares before you. My doubts and fears don't scare you. You're bigger than I thought you were. You're bigger than I thought. So I stop all negotiation with the God of all creation. You're bigger than I thought you were. You're bigger than I thought. Oh, you're bigger than I thought you were. You're bigger than I thought you
Hey Rev, how are we doing tonight? Good. I don't know, there's something about tonight. Just feels really great to be here with all of you if we have not met. My name's Madison, this is Josh, and the rest of the team, and we're just so grateful that we get to be here each and every week with you guys and hang out and worship together. And a special welcome to you if this is your first time joining us tonight. We're so, so glad that you are here with us. I don't know what you walk through these doors carrying today. Some of us may have come here and we've had a really great week. We've had a really great month and we were so excited to be here. And some of us had a really hard day, had a really hard week. a really hard season of life, whatever that may have looked like. And it was really tough to work up the courage and the energy to be here tonight. And we just want to tell you that that's okay, and God sees you in that. But we also want to tell you that this is a place where you can come just as you are. A place where it's safe to just show up and be totally free to be exactly who you are, wherever you're at, whatever you're feeling. This is a safe place, and it's also a place where you can come and experience community and fellowship with other people, and it's a place where you can come and experience Jesus, and you can experience his presence. And when we worship, when we gather together, Jesus promises us his presence. He promises that he is here with us in this place, right here, right now. And we worship to respond to who God is and what he's done for each and every one of us. And tonight we're gonna sing a new song together. And it's all about just the faithfulness of God, that he never ever fails us, whatever we face, whatever we're walking through. Even in the midst of what may feel like a battle that can't be won, Jesus is always victorious, and he never fails us. And the song that we're gonna sing is a declaration of who Jesus is. And even when we can't see it, we can't feel it, it's a prayer that we can come back to be reminded of who God is, and that he never fails us. So my encouragement to all of us tonight is to just sing this out. We're gonna teach you part of the song, so once you get the hang of it, let's sing this out. Sing it over yourself, sing it over your circumstances, whatever you're walking through, whatever today, whatever this month, whatever the season has looked like. This is our chance to sing this over ourselves. So it goes like this. You're my refuge and strength, my yes and amen. Put my trust in your name, 'cause you never failed me yet. You're the breaker of chains, defeated the grave. All my hope in your name, 'cause you never failed me yet. You're my refuge and strength, my yes and amen. Put my trust in your name, 'cause you never failed me yet. You're the breaker of chains, defeated the grave. All my hope in your name, 'cause you never failed me yet. This is a song for the valleys, for the harder days. Something to remind me when I've lost my way. And even though it's dark right now, I know morning comes, 'cause you're the God of the promise, and what you say is done. And in the battle, when I'm surrounded, still my soul holds to all you've said. You're my refuge and strength, my yes and amen. Put my trust in your name, 'cause you never failed me yet. You're the breaker of chains, defeated the grave. All my hope in your name, 'cause you never failed me yet. This is a prayer for the desert, when the road seems you call me, I will follow. 'Cause you've never failed me yet. If you're not in it, I don't want it. If you said it, I believe it. Where you call me, I will follow. 'Cause you've never failed me yet. If you're not in it, I don't want it. If you said it, I believe it. Where you call me, I will follow. 'Cause you've never failed me yet. If you're not in it, I don't want it. If you said it, I believe it. Where you call me, I will follow. 'Cause you've never failed me yet. You never failed me yet. You never failed me yet. You're my refuge and strength, my yes and amen. Put my trust in your name. 'Cause you've never failed me yet. You're the breaker of chains, defeated the grave. All my hope in your name. 'Cause you've never failed me yet. If you're not in it, I don't want it. If you say it, I believe it. Where you call me, I will follow. 'Cause you've never failed me yet. If you're not in it, I don't want it. If you say it, I believe it. Where you call me, I will follow. 'Cause you've never failed me yet. I don't want it. If you said it, I believe it. Where you call me, I will follow. 'Cause you never failed me yet. If you're not in it, I don't want it. If you said it, I believe it. Where you call me, I will follow. 'Cause you never failed me yet. Jesus, we are just so grateful tonight, Lord, for that truth. That wherever we find ourselves here in this moment, whatever we are facing, whatever we're walking through, Jesus, you are always faithful, Jesus. And when we come into your presence, the heavy weights that we carry are lifted. Jesus, we're so thankful that we serve a God who is for us, who loves us, who is with us in each and every season of life. So God, would you continue to remind us of that, and would we continue to run to you? Jesus, we love you so much, and we're so grateful for this place when we can come just as we are and know that we are seen, know that we are loved. And Jesus, we just give you this time. We say, have your way. We love you so much, Jesus, and we pray all of this in your name. Amen. Hey, Rev, thanks for worshiping with us. You can go ahead and take a seat.
Here. And when I say you, I don't just mean like generic you. I really wish I could go around and say you and you and you and you to each one of you, because this place is better when all of you are here. You all add unique value to this place that no one else can add. There's only one of you anywhere in the world. There'll only ever be one of you in human history. And so I just want to encourage you, show up to this place every week. We need you here because you add something unique. So again, I'm glad you're here. And if you're here for the very first time, if this is the first time I'm meeting you, my name is John. I'm your student pastor. I'm the guy who gets to hang out with you every week. Here's what we do here every night. We hang out in the lobby. We get to come in here and have some fun. We sing to Jesus with the band. We've got a great band. And then we have some fun here on stage. We get to hear from Brandon Gilliam, world-renowned Brandon Gilliam. And then we get to go out to small groups. And that's a place where you get to hang out with people that are your same age, your same grade, and just talk about life. Talk about what you heard in here and figure out how to follow Jesus. So you belong here. We're glad you're here online. I know you guys are joining us on YouTube too. We're glad you're here in this community with us. But here's how we got to start the night. First, I want to say hi to parents, because I know there are some parents here. Hello, parents. You're super cool. We love you. We're glad you're here. Everyone give a wave to parents. Everyone turn around and go, hello parents, welcome. Nice. Perfect golf clap for you parents. But here's what else we have to do. We have to have a little bit of fun, okay? Because I love having fun up here on stage. And so we're gonna have a stage game right now. And I need people with dexterity and speed and with a championship mindset. That was a lot of qualifications. I just need anyone who wants to come up here. That's your other qualification. If you qualify there, just come on up. All right, I got one guy right back there. Is it Ethan? Is he coming up? All right, everyone's pointing at each other over here. So whoever feels the most guilted, whoever feels the most peer pressure, come on up. And yeah, you, and then you're making your friend come up, which I love, so come on up. And then last but not least, yeah, come on up. Do it. Bring it up. Bring it on up. All right. Take off your jacket. So here, as you come up, here's what I want to know. I want to know your name, and I want to know your grade. People got to know. And if you're a small group, if you're this person's small group out there, make some extra noise, all right? So what's your name? Ethan, we got Ethan. Is he Ethan's small group here? They're here. All right. Ethan, what grade are you in? He's a 10th grader. We got the 10th grade guys over there. What's your name? Peyton. What's up, Peyton? Is Peyton small group here? Yeah, they're here. Okay. And Peyton, what grade are you in? She's a sophomore. Welcome, sophomores. Name? Rebecca. Is Rebecca small group here? They're here. They're in the house. Okay. And Rebecca, what grade are you? She's a 9th grader. And then last but not least, we got Evan. Is Evan's group here? Standing ovation. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, they're over there? I wouldn't have known. Good. Thanks for pointing them out. Sweet. And Evan, you are senior. The senior in the house. Sweet. Here's how this game is going to work. So you start here. You go down the line stacking the cups. You got to stack all of them like this. We're going to time all of you, and the person who does it the fastest is the winner. All right? Ethan, you are lucky contestant number 1. You feel limber, ready to go? Good. Then you're up anyway, so go ahead. All right. We got a timer. Is everyone ready? Make some noise for Ethan. Let's get him ready to go. Here we go, Ethan. On your mark. Get set. Go! Go, go, Ethan, go.
He is
Here we go.
flying.
Speed. Oh, no, he missed one. He's crushing the cuffs. 2 confidence. Stop. All right, stop it. 9 seconds. We're going to give that 9,
Not
but
supposed
with
to break him, Ethan.
a
Come
little
on,
bit
man.
of cup slaughter going on. Yeah. He missed half. That's all right. Well, that might come back to haunt you, Ethan, but that's all right. 9 seconds. That's what the time to beat is. The time to beat is 9 seconds. You think you guys can beat 9 seconds? How are you feeling? You look nervous. She's got it. Ben, she's got it. All right, so you can come over here. We'll start it over here. Limber up. Make sure you're ready to. Are you stretched? Don't pull anything. There she is. She's good. Nice. That was it. This was all she needed. Perfect. Are you ready? Is your small group ready? She needs noise from you guys to make sure she succeeds. Where's her small group? I forgot.
Very lackluster.
You're here. 1 wave. Okay, good. There's a lot of support for you out there. So on your mark, get set, go! Go! Oh,
no.
Forget it. Just leave it behind. No cup left behind. Go! Oh, throw on. That's right. You're so good. You still got time. Go! Last, and stop it. It's 11, 12, 13 seconds, 12 seconds. We'll give you 12 seconds. All right, Noah, reset. The final 2. The time to beat is still 9 seconds with a little bit of cup scattering going on. Yeah, 9 minus an actual cup stacking, so. How are you feeling? You think you can do it? No, okay, humility is the first step to winning, so that's perfect. You're already in the right mindset. Here we go. Can we make some noise first? Is she ready to go? Here we go. On your mark. Get set. Go. Start the timer. Oh, slow and steady. Wins the race. Look at this. Form is on the
Slow and
wrist.
steady may win the
You got
race,
it. You
John.
got it. You got it. This is looking good. Get the last one. Stop it right there. 10 seconds. We'll give her 10 seconds. I think it was at 10. 10 seconds, but
10.
with all the cups. I don't know. I think I'm going to give her a leg up over you. You're not going to? You both had 9. Well, she had 10. She was slower, but she also had all the cups. It was behind. Ethan's like, we need a replay. Okay. Just solve the problem right here, Evan. It doesn't even need to be a dispute. Yeah, yep. A new world record. Let's hear it for Evan. Can we, this last but not least. Who's got their money on Evan? Anyone put their money down on Evan? Good, yeah. On your mark, Evan. Get set, go! Oh, that shuffle. He's in the zone. Uh-oh. We got it, you got it. Stop it there. Oh, done.
Wow.
It's over.
Blistering speed.
You're what?
Blistering speed.
Blistering speed. I blinked and I missed it almost. Evan, you are, when everyone shake your hand while you're still not famous, so I can say I shook your hand someday. Okay, The rest of you can find a seat. Evan, have this bag of Skittles. It's a weird rectangle bag of Skittles, so I don't know what that means, but I think it means good things. So, yeah. But Evan, you know what time it is then. Every week, just so everyone knows, we do something called One Shot. And One Shot is a rolling queue. So every time you miss, we add $1 to the queue, and we've got a Chick-fil-A gift card ready to go. If you were to make it tonight, right here, Chick-fil-A gift card. If you make this one shot, you will be a living legend, Evan. Let's hear some noise for Evan.
Come on, Evan.
Evan, you've got the audience on your side. You can do this. Wait, back up 2 steps. That's it. That's right there. That's the spot. Yeah, stretch your neck. Shooting bows is all in the neck, so that's perfect. Here we go. Ooh. Oh no! I'm sorry. The bow is rigged. It's rigged. I'm sorry. You won too much tonight. We can't have you win too much. I'm joking. That was it. All right, Evan. Good job. Let's say good job to Evan. Everyone say good job, Evan. Good job, Evan. We love you. We appreciate you. All right, Rev. Hey, first thing I want to tell you about is Rev Retreat. It is coming up quick. It is one of the best things we do here. And if you're on the fence, if you're like, what do we do? I've never been on a Rev Retreat. I want you to check out this video. This will give you a little taste of what we do on a Rev Retreat. November 12th through 14th, so don't miss that weekend. It's $150 to sign up. Come talk with us if you have questions about it, if you need help figuring out how to sign up. And I just also want to point out that like the first half of that video was Brandon rapping, and the first half of the retreat is pretty much going to be Brandon rapping. So you can look forward to that, all right? The other thing I want you to know is, again, it's parent night, so parents, welcome. When you're done in here, parents, just head right on up that right on up the stairs, out the bridge. I'll meet you up in Elevate. You all are gonna head to small group as normal. And then last but not least, we don't have Revolution next week. So tell me who's gonna show up here next week. You're wrong, don't show up. It's gonna be a dark building, all right? I'm gonna cry for you. Don't show up, we're off next week. Enjoy it, relax, maybe hang out with friends. And then be back in 2 weeks. Again, we are better when you're here, so please don't miss in 2 weeks. All right, Rev, Brandon Gilliam is gonna come out and give an awesome message. Just check out this video, and I'm glad you're all here. Good to see you.
What's up, Rev? It's so good to be with you tonight, whether you're joining us online or at one of our campuses. And a big hello to all the parents joining us at all of our campuses tonight. It's so good to be with you, and I'm so glad that you're checking out what we do every single Wednesday. It is truly a pleasure. Tonight, we're continuing a series that we've called The School of Life. In this series, we are learning life lessons from God and the Bible together. And tonight's lesson is all about time. Is it true? We all want more time. It feels like we never have enough time. We never have enough time to hang out with friends and practice sports and instruments and lines to play or do homework or study for tests or fill out college applications or spend time with family or be present on social media, work a job, play video games, sleep, or eat Chipotle. Just kidding. There's always time to eat Chipotle, okay? But you get my point. It feels like we are always running out of time for the things that we want to do. We're always missing out on something that we're interested in. It always feels like if we just had a few more hours in the day, a few more days in the week, then we'd have enough time for all the things that we have to do, like school and work and sports. And then we'd have extra time for all the things that we want to do, like hanging out with friends and watching Netflix and practicing TikTok dances and, other things that are fun, eating Chipotle, right? If we just had more time, then we'd really get what we want. If you've ever thought that, you're not alone. Because in the late 1700s, just 20 years after the Declaration of Independence was signed, the French were fighting for their independence. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, I didn't think we'd be talking about the French or the late 1700s tonight, but if we haven't met yet, I'm a huge nerd. Hello, welcome to Rev. And I promise this will make sense, okay? So just hang with me. The French were fighting for their independence and they won. And when they won, they decided they wanted more time. They didn't want to be held down by the 7-day week structure. And so they got together and in 1793, they created something called the French Republican calendar. This is what it looked like. And there was a big change about this calendar. The big change was they took the work week, which was 7 days like we have, and they converted it to 10 days. Now, back then, you only got 1 day off from work, which meant that they went from going from 6 days of work to get 1 day off to going from 9 days of work to get 1 day off. Imagine, if you will, if you had to go to school for 9 days to only have 1 day off. How would that make you feel? Great, really good, excited, happy about life, ready to change the world, because that's exactly how the French felt. According to the historian Charles Galizzo, the reason the French did this was to give of supreme significance to the rise of science, the growth of the state, and the improvement of civilization. Another way to say it is if they just had more time, then they could make the world a better place. But unfortunately, it didn't work. It was really bad. Like really, really bad. People were exhausted from working 9 days straight. They were so exhausted, they were sad and depressed and anxious and lonely and isolated. There was a spike, a 70% spike in the rise of suicides during the 12 years that this calendar existed. So eventually the French went back to a 7-day cycle like we have today. What they went for was more time, but they didn't actually get more time. They just got more busy with the time that they had. Here's why I tell you that story. Just because you think you want more time doesn't mean you know what to do with the time that you have. I'm gonna say it again. Just because you might think that you want more time doesn't mean you know what to do with the time that you have. See, the truth is, we don't need more time. We don't need more time, we need ordered time. We need structured time, we need formed time. We need to learn how to order our time in such a way that gives us the focus that we need to do meaningful work. The presence required to live in life-giving relationships and the space to experience real rest. And the key to time well spent isn't more time. The question is, how do we order our time? The good news is that the Bible has a lesson about this, something that we can learn about how to structure our time to not be restless, but to be restful. And the lesson the Bible has to teach us is Sabbath. Sabbath comes from a Hebrew word that literally means to stop. A writer and pastor named John Mark Comer defined Sabbath as this: a day to stop. Stop working, stop wanting, stop worrying, just stop. And the reason I think we need to learn this lesson, not just individually, but like maybe across the world, all humans need to learn this lesson, is because when we don't know what to do with our time, we often get restless. Meaning we don't know, we're so jumbled up within ourselves that we don't know where to start, how to untangle. If you don't know what restlessness feels like, here's what it feels like. It feels like living busy, when you're always trying to cram things into your calendar. And if nothing's in your calendar, you're kind of worried about what's coming next or how to put something in it. We're living hurried, trying to get to the next thing. And if we don't know what the next thing is, we're anxious about figuring out what that next thing is and getting there as quickly as possible. We live isolated. where we have no meaningful relationships, where it's difficult for us to be vulnerable, to tell the truth about our lived experience, what's really going on in our lives. We live distracted by phones and shows and anything to just kind of numb the pain of the world. We move from screen to screen or image to image because we live distracted. We live comparing where everyone else's life looks better than mine. We live discontent where we're never satisfied. No matter what we do, no matter how much we do it, it never fills the void in our own heart. We live worrying about what tomorrow will bring, worrying about missing out on something, worrying that we are not enough. We live anxious. We live a life that lacks peace. If I'm honest with you, I have wasted too much time in my life on those things. I have lived restless for too long, but thankfully, Sabbath is a lesson that teaches me and teaches all of you restfulness, on how our time can be spent and organized around rest. And when we practice Sabbath, our restlessness is transformed into restfulness. This is what it looks like. Busyness turns into being present. When you're okay being in a room with other people because you're okay with who you are and who God has created you to be, and you're available to other people and you're available to God. Hurried becomes steady. You're no longer rushing to the next thing. You have confidence in who God has created you to be, and you live out of that place, not out of a hurried place. You don't have to play another sport to be great. You don't have to get an A on the next paper to be accepted. You are good as you are. You are steady. Isolated turns into deep relationships where you find a few people that you trust and you're vulnerable with them and you tell them the truth and you listen to them when they tell you the truth. Comparing turns into enjoying. Distracted turns into delighted. We're no longer trying to numb the pain. We've learned to heal, and we're moving forward into an area of delighting and enjoying, recognizing that life is a gift and something to be lived well. Discontentment turns into content, where we are satisfied, where we believe that God has given us everything that we need. Where worrying turns into trusting, where we trust that God has our future in his hands and we believe him. Where anxiousness turns into peace. If you were to choose which column describes your life right now, which would it be? Are you living a restless life? Or are you living a restful life? The good news is that God and the Bible have something to teach us. A lesson to be learned about how Sabbath can reorient our whole weekly and lively structure around rest. Not restlessness, not trying to achieve, not trying to become the next great thing, but to live out of who God has created us to be. If we just learn to stop. Tonight, I want to teach you what the main point is about Sabbath, where it comes from in the Bible, and then how we can actually practice Sabbath together in our weekly rhythm. The main point about Sabbath, whenever the Bible talks about it talks about rest and worship. Now, some of you are probably familiar with the 10 Commandments. If you're not, the 10 Commandments were God's 10 important rules to his people, the Israelite people, a long, long time ago. And these rules were supposed to help the Israelites live differently than the rest of the world. They were supposed to give them an identity in the world and a way of living. But there was one commandment that was given more explanation, more words, more space than any of the other commandments. And it begins by saying this: remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. I love that this command begins with this word, remember, because it's so easy to forget that God has already taught us what to do with our time. It's easy to get sucked into a life of speed, to let the pace of life ramp up a notch shy of insanity. Every time I talk to a high school student and ask them, how are you? Do you know what they always say? Tired. I'm seeing head nods all over the place in here right now. I'm guessing there's head nods all across campuses. Whenever I talk to a high school student, they tell me, I'm tired, because we live at a breakneck pace. It's easy to forget that you are more than what you do, that you're loved even if you don't make the team, if you don't get straight A's, if you don't find a date to homecoming. So when God taught us about Sabbath, the first word he told us to remember is remember. The first word he told us to remember is remember. Remember that life is a gift. Remember to take time and enjoy the life that you have as a grateful act of worship to God. Remember to be present in the moment. Remember that life can be good even when it feels really bad. We're prone to forgetting, and so when God teaches us about Sabbath, he teaches us to remember. And then the commandment goes on. God goes on to give us structure. This is how Sabbath is supposed to work. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. Sabbath to the Lord is the key phrase there. That means that this day is for the Lord. It's not just for us, it's for him. It's set aside for him. So what this means is that Sabbath isn't just a day off. Now, don't get me wrong. Taking a day off to hang with your friends and go to the mall and watch movies and procrastinate on homework, that's all cool. It's great. But if there's not a part of the day that's dedicated to God, then it's not Sabbath. Because Sabbath is about rest and worship. My family and I practice Sabbath every week on Saturdays. And whenever we are trying to decide what we're gonna do, we filter all of our activities through two questions. Is this thing rest and is it worship? And if the answer to those two questions is yes, it is, then we do that thing, whatever it is. We do it with full hearts and lots of joy and tons of enthusiasm. But the answer is, no, that's not really restful, or no, I'm not sure if that's worship, then we just try to hold off. There's 6 other days for those things. Sabbath is a day to rest and a day to worship. Now, I need to point out here how accessible this is supposed to be. It's easy to think that Sabbath is just another rule to make our life more complicated instead of a practice that's aimed at saving our lives, giving us a new way to follow Jesus and a new way to be human. Rest and worship are broad categories. Rest looks different on all of us. There's no formula, there's no checklist, there's no schedule. Sabbath will look different for a 30-something pastor with a wife and 2 kids than it will for a high school student, and that's okay. In fact, it's supposed to work that way. The point is to set aside a day for nothing but rest and worship. Now, often when we hear the word worship, we think of singing songs in church, and that's true. That is worship. But worship on the Sabbath is bigger. It's more expansive. It's the kind of worship where you can go to Chipotle and get a burrito with the understanding of the reality that the God of the universe created everything necessary for that burrito to exist, and you eat it to the glory of God. Listen, if you missed the message last week, my guy Daniel Young talked about this, and he told us that we can do everything for the glory of God. We can do anything, and you need to get this. This is crucially important. When it comes to worship, it's a lifestyle, not a playlist. It's the way in which you live, not just the music you sing or listen to. It's living with the constant awareness that all my friends and all my music and all of nature, even my very next breath, is a gift from God. And Sabbath is an entire day to practice that mindset, to figure it out. And then finally, the commandment ends with God explaining why we do it. Why do we do Sabbath? And he said this. He said, for in 6 days, the Lord made heaven and earth. He worked. He made the sea and all that is in them, and rested on the seventh day. So therefore, the Lord blessed the Sabbath day, and he made it holy. The reason we take Sabbath is because God took Sabbath. It's our way to become more like him, to experience his way of life in our way of life. It's the recognition that we all need a reset button, that the main point of Sabbath is to rest and it's to worship. But here's the truth. The main point of Sabbath doesn't mean anything if we don't put it into practice. So I just want to give you 3 helpful ways to do this. The first is this. Get some sleep. How many, and I actually want you to raise your hands here, how many of you feel like you don't get enough sleep? Be honest, it's a safe place. All of us, great. All of us, awesome. Whenever I talk to anybody, high school student, adult, it always seems like we never get enough sleep. And there's something really beautiful about the way the first people who practiced Sabbath did it. The Jewish people had a habit of marking their days from sundown to sundown. And so from sundown on Friday to sundown on Saturday, those were the hours that they practiced Sabbath, which means this: the first 6 to 10 hours of their day with the Lord, they were asleep. They were sleeping. As an act of worship, they were asleep to the glory of God. Can I get an amen to that? I mean, like they were ready to be asleep for the first part of their day with God. And I need you to let that sink in, because it's so easy for us to forget sleep. Sabbath normalizes sleep, and we need to normalize it. I'm not kidding, because it's so easy to get sucked into a TikTok or Instagram or YouTube or video game void and forget to sleep. One time the CEO of Netflix was asked, who's your biggest competitor? And he didn't say Hulu, and he didn't say Disney Plus, and he didn't say any of the other streaming sites or whatever. You know what he said? He said, my biggest competitor is people sleeping. That's what we are up against. Sabbath is a way to resist that lifestyle, to take care of our bodies and our minds, to give them over to God and say, God, I trust you enough to leave all of the cares in my world in your hands, and I'm going to sleep. I'm gonna go to sleep. And I promise you, there's no hidden meaning in this point. I, as your pastor, as a person who cares about your well-being, I'm telling you, go to sleep. Like every night for sure, but especially on the Sabbath, as an act of worship, get some sleep. Second helpful way to implement Sabbath is this: you gotta make a plan. And I think you have to make a plan, because for many of you, probably Sabbath will be a brand new thing that you've never tried before. And going into Sabbath without a plan is like going into the gym without a plan. Like you might get in there and like lift a few weights and then like use a few machines and like get on the treadmill and go for a little while, but then you'll leave and be like, what did I even do? And have no motivation to go back, which is why I no longer go to the gym, okay? But you gotta have a plan going into it, because that plan will help you make the most of your time with God. And your plan, hear me in this, should suit you. It should suit your personality. Some of you are extroverted, some of you are introverted. Some of you are loud, some of you are quiet. Sabbath should reflect who you are, your interests, your needs. Now, to do this well, you should choose a day of the week. And I mean that literally, a day of the week. Most of my friends who practice Sabbath do it on Sunday, because the day that they already go to church, it's the day that they're already kind of wanting to take a nap, and so it just works for them. Choose a day that works for you. My guess is that the weekend would be the best days for you, Saturday or Sunday. Now, you might be thinking, okay, I'm gonna choose a day, whatever, but like 24 hours with God is like a long time. Like, what am I gonna do during that time? To give you a point of reference, I wanna share with you my personal plan. This is what I do on my Sabbath. This won't suit or fit all of you, but maybe it'll give you an idea. This is what I do. Mine starts, I try to do it the Jewish way, okay? Mine starts on Friday night, 10 p.m., I'm asleep. Now hear me. Some of you said 10 p.m., oh, he's in bed. No, 10 p.m., I am open-mouthed snoring, asleep, okay? My phone is off, it's on focused mode, it's on whatever to be quiet mode. Nobody's calling me, I don't care about anybody. I am asleep on Friday night at 10 p.m. Asleep. And then I wake up around 6. And when I wake up, I try my best. If it's not miserable outside because it's Minnesota, I go outside. I go for a walk. I try to do it like a light exercise, just get my body moving a little bit, spend some time in prayer. From 7 a.m. to 12 p.m., I'm with my family. I'm drawing pictures with my daughter. I'm taking my son outside. I'm having coffee with my wife. We're telling stories. We're reading books. We're just together. That's it. Listening to music. We're just together. Then from 12 to 1 p.m., we eat lunch. When I say we eat lunch, I mean we feast. There's no counting calories on the Sabbath. We are eating a meal together. And it's indulgent and it's delicious and we make it ourselves. It's one of my favorite parts of the week. And then from 1 to 5 is what we call my house quiet time. I put my kids to nap. I'll take a nap. I'll certainly read. I'll play music. I'll listen to music. I'll do things that I love to do. Things that put my mind on God. Things that are restful to me. Then 5 to 6, we feast again. Second feast, 6 p.m., 10 p.m. I'm with my family again, and we're going to bed. And that's it. I put my phone away. I spend time with the people I love most in the world. I read because I'm an introverted nerd. And I go to sleep. And that's what it looks like for me. What would rest look like for you? What would it look like for you to take an entire day to focus on rest and sleep? And already I can hear some of you saying, that's not gonna work for me. Like, that's not gonna work. I've got too much homework. I've got sports to play. I've got friends to hang out with. And I'm saying, what would it look like? Are you willing to go after rest, that you're willing to say no to some things in your life? Are you willing to go after God, to put him at the center of your week, to say no to some things in your life? You probably will have to, and it'll take some time to get used to it, but it's worth it. Because what's at stake is a life that's restless or a life that's restful. What would your plan look like? To stop working, to stop worrying, to stop wanting, to allow yourself to pay attention to God. The only way it's gonna happen is if you make a plan. The last way to do this is this. You gotta have fun. Like, you actually have to enjoy this. Sabbath is not meant to be something that is like an added burden to your life. It's supposed to be the center of your week. And I'll tell you the truth. This is honestly true. I look forward to Sabbath every day of my week. It is my favorite day of the week. I work very hard for 6 days. And on the 7th day, I don't do any work. I'm just with my family. And it took me a while to get there. It was hard at first. At first, I thought it was supposed to be really spiritual and like serious, very somber, and like so that I made my family do this with me. Like, I made them was like, we're not gonna play any music and we're not gonna watch any TV and we're just gonna pray all day. And they were like, Dad, this totally sucks. You know, this is the worst. It just wasn't working. We all felt kind of low and it just was difficult until my 5-year-old daughter took over. What happened was, on a Sabbath morning, she came out of her room and she snuggled up to me while I was drinking my morning coffee. And she was like, Dad, is today the Sabbath? And I said, yep. And in kind of like a defeated way, like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. And she was like, I think we should make a rule for the day. And I said, what should it be? And she said, a full day of fun. With those 5 words, something like unlocked in my brain. I was like, oh yeah, you're supposed to enjoy the Sabbath. You're supposed to love it. You're supposed to have fun. It's supposed to lift you up. And so that day, that's what we did. We went down to the lake by my house and we threw rocks in the lake and scared ducks and geese for a long time. And we thanked God for the water. And then we came back home and we made this big, huge lunch and we made a huge mess and we didn't clean any of it up. And we thanked God for our family and for our food. And then for the rest of the day, we drew pictures together and sang songs together and had a scooter race and ran around in the yard. And we thanked God for fun. And all of us went to bed that night, rested and ready for the week ahead. And friends, that's the important thing about Sabbath. It's a rhythm to put into your life for you to learn to be rested so that you're ready for the work we have to do. And my challenge for you is to try it, to try Sabbath. Maybe for some of the parents that are joining us tonight, this is something to do as a whole family, but something to put at the center of your week, to just stop. And to build that habit now as a high school student so that when you get into your 20s and 30s and 40s, you already know that you're not interested in a restless life. You're not interested in being hurried or being busy just to be busy. You are looking for peace and stability and steadiness. And so one day a week, you stop, you rest, and you worship. I guarantee that if you start this habit now, in the future, it will be 10 times easier. And I also guarantee if you neglect it, it becomes 10 times harder. And so friends, try Sabbath. Try Sabbath because God stopped from working. Try to stop your body from working and worrying and wanting. Try doing what God did when he finished his work. Try sleeping and planning and having fun. One of the great life lessons was said when God spoke to his people long ago. Remember the Sabbath and keep it holy. Rev, let's pray together. Heavenly Father, thank you for our time together. Thank you for the Sabbath. Thank you for teaching us what to do with our time and how it can be ordered and structured in such a way that actually produces rest in our spirits and at the center of our life and reorients how we think about our work and our time. And God, I pray for these high school students that they would do it, that they would give it a try. I imagine that it will be difficult and challenging, and I pray against everything that's coming into their minds of why they can't do it or why they shouldn't do it, but they would just give it a try. Maybe even this weekend, they would choose a day, plan it, get ready for it, try to rest and worship. And then God, would you be so kind to meet students all across the Twin Cities that give this a try and implement it into their life. I pray for productive conversations in small group tonight of like making a plan and doing it as a small group. God, would you just start a revolution of high school students just stopping for a day to be with you. Thank you for this chance that we have to be together. We trust you and we love you in Jesus' name. Amen. Rev, love you guys a lot. Parents, thank you for joining us. You are dismissed and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Peace.